Eh bien bonjour à toutes et à tous, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle conférence. J'entends plus rien. Luan, comment vas-tu?
Ça va. On est actuellement au centre d'un très grand réacteur. Je sais pas à quoi ça ressemble, mais ça va être sympa. Voilà.
C'est
Et toi,
incroyable.
comment ça va?
Ça va très bien. On sait historique. La conférence de
14,
la hype.
13,
C'est maintenant.
9, 8. Je sais pas si on est synchro, mais ça commence, c'est tout ce qu'on sait.
Ça a commencé moi aussi.
Zéro.
Hello, and
Ah oui,
welcome
bah,
to this
voici
year's
Bonjour.
Accessibility Summer Showcase 2024. I'm your host Laura. I'm a white woman with bright blue hair, shaved on one side, wearing a plain black
Des
dress.
sous-titres. Ok,
I'll keep
donc
this
c'est du
introduction
numéro de
brief, as I know
Oui,
you're
mais
here
qu'il y
to
a des-
find out about cool upcoming accessible video games.
Il y a
The
que l'anglais, je suis
Accessibility
désolé.
Summer Showcase
C'est
is to be a
général
place for disabled gamers
automatiquement. Donc.
to find out about cool upcoming and recently released video games, while knowing upfront if they're likely to
Donc
be accessible for them
480p,
upon
let's go.
release. While not every single video game showcase today is going to be accessible for every single disabled gamer, the aim of the
Aussi, j'ai un
showcase is that,
480 alors qu'on peut aller
wherever
beaucoup plus
possible,
haut.
there will be at least a couple of interesting games
Voilà.
shown today that are going to be playable for you, no matter who you are. If you'd benefit from audio description or sign language interpreter support, there are American Sign Language, British Sign Language, and audio described versions of the showcase available
Madame est en
on
train d'expliquer un peu le concept.
youtube.com/LauraKBuzz. If you'd like to find most of
Alors,
this year's showcase
j'ai
titles
un
in
peu
a
baissé
single
le
place,
son. Moi, de
we
toute
have a
façon, vous
Steam
pouvez
sale
lire
page this year.
directement de mon côté.
You
Bon,
can
voilà.
find it at the link on screen now.
On ne sait pas à quoi s'attendre. C'est
There
la
you'll
première
find
fois
this
qu'on
year's
regarde
showcase titles to wishlist or
un
purchase, alongside
Accessibility
last year's
Summer
showcase titles
Showcase.
and a handful of demos.
Tu viens de
bon.
voir le.
This year's showcase
découverte,
doesn't have a sponsor,
Tu
so
viens
if
de voir
you'd
le
like to
tweet.
support the Accessibility Summer
Totalement.
Showcase, please consider supporting Accessibility at
Oh.
patreon.com/LauraKBuzz.
S'il vous plaît, donnez-nous des
The
sous.
support helps the Summer Showcase to exist, alongside accessibility reviews and the Control Alt Access podcast. Now, without any further introduction, let's jump into the
Ah,
games.
éditement, d'accord. Je me suis dit, tiens, oui, parce qu'il parlait de Steam et tout. Non, pas Triune.
This is Elsie,
Car.
the upcoming retro-inspired bullet hell action platforming roguelike shooter from Night Shift Games and Platonic
Parfait.
Friends. Elsie isn't just packed with hyphenated genre tags and technicolor action, however. The Night
Peut-être à
Shift team
préciser
have
aux
been
gens
hard
qui
at
nous
work to
regardent
provide a host of accessibility features to make
nous
Elsie
allons
as
avoir
accessible as
20
possible to
jeux
anyone who
présentés
wants
lors
to
de la
play.
conférence. Je sais pas si ça avait été précisé.
If you just want to absorb the gorgeous style and play through the story,
Je sais pas
there's
si
an
l'on dit, mais c'est en
invincibility mode,
description.
which might also come in handy if you're struggling against a particularly tricky boss fight. And to help you focus on the hyperkinetic on-screen action, there are modifiers to allow you to blur, desaturate, or even turn off the backgrounds entirely. There are also options for adjusting the amount of screen
Laisse un
shake
petit
you
peu.
experience to help with this even further.
La qualité revient petit à petit de mon côté. C'est bon, on a
Elsie is an incredibly
1080p.
colourful game, so it
Et
has
j'ai rien
options to
touché.
assist those
Le
with
jeu a l'air
color
sympa
vision
quand même.
deficiency too.
Enfin, il a l'air.
Options for player outline and enemy outline also allow you to adjust the hue to your liking, to make sure the technicolor action is as visible as possible. If you need assistance with reflex mechanics, there will also be an option to adjust the timing required to correctly hit a parry, as well as following up with those all-important counterattacks. So to
C'est vrai que c'est un
recap,
jeu
there's an invincibility mode,
tout mignon.
parry and counterattack timing adjustments, font
ouais,
size modifier,
avec des bombes.
colorblind assistance, player and enemy outline options, rumble strength and screen shake modifiers, and options to blur, desaturate, or remove backgrounds. Elsie is a love letter to retro action platformers of old, while packing in plenty of new elements to give the genre a modern twist, and we want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy the experience. Please consider wishlisting the game on Steam today if you like what you see, and stay tuned to the Night Shift and Platonic socials for more info soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Ria. I am part of a two-person
Eh
indie
ben,
game studio.
Bonjour
called
Réa.
I Miss My Friends Studio. We're working on our first title, Fishbowl. Fishbowl is
Oh,
a
c'est
slice
tout
of life
mignon.
coming of age story told
Vous avez vu,
over a
nous
month.
avons un
There are no
décalage avec
fixed
Desclave, nous allons donc
day-night
actualiser.
cycles in Fishbowl, and you can take
Attends,
all the
tu veux
time
mettre
you
sur pause?
need to explore Arlo's house. You video call
Oh,
loved ones
attends.
and have branching
Non.
conversations
Je te
with
dirai.
them in a
Et là,
clear
c'est un
sans
délai.
serif font. You work from home.
J'ai actualisé, je vais appeler directement le jeu.
You match
Ça a l'air tout
snippets to
mignon.
the correct track as per color
Du
or
montage.
icon. This
What the fuck?
feature is fun.
Quoi, vous me demandez de faire dans un jeu ce que je fais pas en vrai?
On and supported. You
Il en est
solve
hors de
puzzles
question.
and discover childhood memories. No time limits or penalties here. Take your time to go through all the sentimental objects Alo has received, whether it's through keyboard, mouse, or the controller. Do care tasks and get to know yourself better one day at a time. Currently,
One
Fishbowl
day
has few options
time.
to change the volume of sound
Le
effects
style du
and
jeu
music,
m'intrigue
and
beaucoup.
also an
Très
option
intriguant,
to
ouais,
turn
d'accord.
off screen shake. We also make sure to have both visual and audio cues for important events. Take your time to notice them as there is no rush to respond.
Oh.
Our demo starts off with a content warning as it addresses and explores themes of grief, loss, loneliness, and isolation. We are a small team and we have a lot more to do before release. We are working on accessibility specific settings like removing screen sway, turning off text effects and typing, providing a larger font size, an option to slow down video editing, and adding a way to skip the puzzles. We have a long way to go and we will try to do our best. We hope you will come along. Thank you.
Très
Waco
sympa.
the Mask Gatherer is an exciting third-person adventure game
Très
developed by Zero
intriguant.
Games.
Ah, j'ai pas le temps de
Immerse
prendre une
yourself
photo.
in the role of Waco, a mysterious gecko embarking on a quest to collect the most powerful mask of his world. Explore diverse landscapes,
Désolé,
from
monsieur, il
vibrant
parle, je
villages
veux
to
ma
dark
photo.
forests. Each environment is carefully crafted to
Je
immerse
reprends
players
Pam.
in a rich sensory
On dirait un jeu
experience
fait sous
with
Dreams.
ambient sounds everywhere, like bird sounds,
Je vois ce que
running
tu veux
water,
dire.
and echoing footsteps on every surfaces, guiding your exploration.
Attention, j'ai
Our
pas une
maps
critique
are
que je fais,
thoughtfully
mais
designed to ensure clear
très
auditory
sympa,
cues,
mais
allowing
je sais pas.
players to navigate with ease and fully immerse themselves in the world of Waco. Dive into a world full of quests and puzzles, from helping villagers to unraveling ancient mysteries. Our intuitive inventory systems make managing items a breeze, with color-coded references and clear icons, ensuring accessibilities for all players. And with the ability to customize sounds in the main menu, players can tailor the game to their preferences. Prepare for epic battles as you meet formidable enemies throughout your journey. Each mask grants unique abilities, empowering players to adapt their fighting styles and overcome challenges. And with distinct sounds for every enemy, player can rely on auditory cues to anticipate and react to threats, making the game
Il est pas
accessible
anglais, le
to all.
monsieur, maintenant que j'y pense.
We're committed to making gaming inclusive for everyone. That's why we are doing our best to develop a colorblind friendly game with carefully chosen color palettes.
Ouais,
that
j'étais en train de
ensure
dire,
Yes,
est-ce qu'il est français ou c'est un autre
We
accent?
invite you to embark on a memorable adventure
Ouais.
where
Le,
I
le
think
ennemi,
this is,
on ne la fait pas.
I think this is the Ubisoft accent.
The secrets of the whimsical world of
Yes.
Waco the Mask Gatherer.
I agree.
Gatherer, pas gather.
My name is Chad Michael Balton.
Oh wow!
Pronouns are he, him.
Oh wow!
I'm a blind podcast
Oula.
host, accessibility
Pardon.
consultant, professional speaker, and
Ah merde,
this
il est-
is
il
why
est-
Wow, wow, j'ai pas
accessibility
compris.
in gaming is
Non, la
important to me.
qualité de la caméra, je parlais.
I will always remember how
Ah,
back
oh,
in
même en
2019,
actualisant, t'es encore
when
devant.
Kingdom Hearts 3 had just released, how excited I
Bah,
was to play
si
the
tu veux mettre en
game.
pause 2 secondes,
I had
ça
been a
devrait être
long
bon.
time fan
1, 2.
of the series and was finally ready to experience the end of the
Juste la
trilogy.
qualité de la caméra.
However,
Non,
at
mais
this point in
S'il a dit
time,
qu'il était,
I was aware of
qu'il
how
avait du
bad
mal
my
avec la
retinitis
vision et tout, c'est
pigmentosa had
vraiment,
gotten
je pense qu'il
and
avait
just
dit
how
qu'il
much
était
of my
blind.
usable vision I really had lost.
Je crois que lui, il
I
prend une...
can
Enfin,
remember not
lorsqu'il
only
joue,
not being able
il
to
est
get
aussi sur son
through
tapis de
the
course
first
ou pas?
world, but
Genre, il joue, il
not
a une manette en main,
knowing
il court.
where I needed to go or what I needed to do to progress
C'est-à-dire,
throughout the
Luan,
game.
explique-moi.
I will never forget how
Non, je
upset
sais
I
pas, écoute,
was
ça peut être un
trying
enchaînement
to
assez
respond to
intéressant,
mother and
tu vois,
father,
de...
Mais
crying
tu
for
vois
me
bien
on
que
the
le tapis, il est
phone,
contre le mur.
and just telling them,
Ah bah si, oui,
hey,
mais
I
faut le
think I have
déplacer
to
un
give
peu, le
up on
tapis, pour
gaming.
voir
I
quand même
think
l'écran, enfin
that
la télé.
because of my blindness, I can no longer keep gaming.
Faut bien que
And
ça
it was a
s'arrête
pretty
non?
big win for me
Je
because
pensais pas que la
growing
première
up,
dinguerie, elle
video
sortirait
games
de ta
had been
part.
the best way for me to cope
Ah non, non, c'est une
with
proposition
losing my
tout à fait
vision and
normale,
just not being able to
de
control
jouer, de courir en
what was
même temps,
going on in my
je
Non
trouve
mais
ça
life.
une
attends,
bonne
en
I
vrai, vraie
had
question.
all
Est-ce que...
intentions to
Enfin,
never
vrai
play a
débat,
video
vrai débat.
game again,
C'est... En
and
vrai,
for the next
en
2
termes de
years,
productivité, je
I
pense que
kept
c'est
true to
littéralement
that
la meilleure chose à
promise.
faire. Genre, tu cours et en même
I
temps, tu joues.
thought that I would go the rest of my
c'est
life
ça.
without
Bon, par contre,
playing
faut pas
another
perdre
video
d'équilibre
game.
Ah bah
quand tu
non!
cours.
But,
Tu sais,
you know,
t'imagines, tu
Tu
joues
peux
à
te mettre comme
Helldivers.
un...
2021, my
Tu joues à
brother-in-law,
Helldivers
he
2.
sent me a text telling me about a game called The
Tu
Last of
cours
Us
sur
Part
le
2
tapis et dans le jeu.
and how I should check it out,
C'est
which
ça.
I thought was
Genre, tu cours
crazy
dans la vraie
because
vie, tu
I
dis, mais
remember
pourquoi je
being
cours pas
able
dans
to
le
play
jeu?
the
Ah bah,
game, the first game that
ça
is,
marche pas comme ça.
back when I had usable vision, and I was just thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to play the sequel due to my limited amount of vision.
On était en train de parler, je vois The
And
Last of
boy,
Us Part
was I
2
wrong.
écrit. Je sais
I
pas
could
vraiment
have
ce qu'il
not
raconte,
been
mais ça a
any
l'air
more
intéressant.
wrong.
Où ça?
And it was a welcome surprise for myself to boot up the game
C'est
and
marqué The
realize
Last of Us
that
Part 2.
my vision wasn't the problem. It was that up until this point,
D'accord.
games really just weren't being made
En fait,
to
ils
accommodate
ont juste
gamers like
enregistré
myself and so many
une
others.
réunion sur
If it
Zoom.
wasn't for the work that Brandon
Ouais.
Cole and
Regarde en
Naughty
bas à
Dog
gauche,
did on The
Ouais,
chat
ouais,
Last of
hein.
Us Part
bouton.
2,
Chat
I don't
bouton.
think I would ever have gotten back into gaming, and I can only imagine where my
Excusez-moi,
life would be
monsieur, mais
right
vous
now
avez un
if I didn't get
gameplay
back
pour
into
votre jeu?
gaming. I owe accessibility in gaming so much.
Hello, my name is Stefan Gagny, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a physically disabled gamer. I run Fiction Factory
Pourquoi il
Games,
précise
and we
leur
make
pronom?
character-driven narrative games such as Arcade Spirits, The New Challengers, Penny Larceny, Gig Economy Supervillain, and our upcoming title, The Shadow over Cyberspace. Today, I'd like to demonstrate some of the accessibility technology that we've built into our games. I'll use our latest game, Penny Larceny, to
Je suis pas
demonstrate.
sûr, je pense qu'il aime
In
bien
this
le style
comic book
arcade.
romantic comedy, you play as a criminal
Moi?
underling named Penny, working for various
Il est un peu comics,
supervillains
mais
to
ça, je suis moins
put
sûr.
food on the table. All of our games feature a self-voicing.
Waouh!
You just
C'est
tap
pas
the
du
V
tout ça à quoi
key
je
at
pensais.
any time to activate.
Self-voicing enabled.
In this mode, extra narration is used to describe imagery,
Oh ouais.
and user
Ah, ça, c'est mon
interfaces
rêve.
are streamlined. Let's demonstrate with this scene where Penny, the woman in the black and white
Ah
striped
non, que
shirt
ce
and
soit la
mask,
voix...
is going out on a date with
la voix
Farsight,
artificielle.
the superheroine in the colorful but practical costume.
Farsight, I'm so glad
Oh
we're
ouais.
finally able to talk outside of our day jobs. It's nice to get away from all that mask and cape stuff. Penny, absolutely. What's a good first date question?
The beeping sound lets players know
Ça se fait
that
pas
it's
de
time
rire,
to make a
Luan.
choice. Alright, let's see, what do we pick here?
What are her
Non,
hobbies?
j'ai
Sewing,
doubleur.
stamp collecting, virtual pet raising? Would she rather fight one
Ça pour ça, oui,
horse-sized
je veux
duck
bien comprendre.
or 100 duck-sized horses?
Lecteur d'écran, mais dans le
Penny,
jeu, c'est marrant.
I'd like to
Enfin,
ask
marrant,
you an
c'est...
important question
C'est
that
horrible.
scholars and philosophers have wrestled with
Ah.
for generations.
Pour ceux qui voient pas, c'est pratique, tu vois.
Ouais, mais je parlais du doublage.
Which do you fight?
Bon,
Il y
le
en a pas.
doublage, c'est...
Oh,
C'est pas... Oui, voilà, c'est pas vraiment doublage. C'est...
Pas
I
du doublage, il y en a
actually
pas.
fought him last week.
For sighted players, we have options to help customize the user interface to their needs. You can adjust fonts used by the game, picking between comic book style,
Je sais pas ce qu'il
a
raconte, mais ça a
simplified
l'air
font
très bizarre.
for easier readability, and the standard open
En
dyslexia
gros, il
font.
présente les
These
options
changes
d'accessibilité
carry
dans son
through to
jeu.
user
Par
interface
rapport
Ah oui, non, mais
à l'interface.
par rapport à ce qu'ils racontaient entre eux, les demoiselles...
Ah, j'ai pas écouté.
Ah non, je sais pas, je voyais le mot horse, duck, je comprenais pas trop, mais... Genre
Lastly, I'd like
demi-horse...
to give a little sneak peek into our next game, The Shadow over Cyberspace, in which the Cthulhu mythos is retold through the apocalyptic lens of the Y2K crisis and 90s internet culture. In this game, we make use of video and screen filters to create
Qu'est-ce
retro
que c'est que ce
computer
jeu? Il sortira
effects.
sur Amiga.
Seen here is an example of that, with an angry woman drawn in pixel art on a laptop screen, with a looping video of fire behind her, and an LCD filter on top.
Nyarlathotep, speak your piece or go in pieces. Who are you, and what convinced you that approaching the crawling chaos was a good life decision?
For players with photosensitivity, we've added the ability to disable these effects. You get the same visuals, but they're a static picture and easier on the eyes. The game also makes use of video during sequences where you watch television.
Moi, ce que je vois là, c'est un
We use
virus qui te
open
parle. Je suis
captioning
désolé,
to
mais...
ensure everyone
C'est...
understands this
Moi,
part.
ça me fait un peu peur.
And
C'est
when
peut-être
using
que ça, le
self-voicing
jeu, en
mode,
fait.
additional visual narration is added.
En fait, peut-être que le jeu est un virus.
Static gives way to the TV23 logo, WYGH-TV, Arkham, Innsmouth, Dunwich. A TV test pattern plays through static.
Moi, ça me fait peur. C'est pas la voix de synthèse qui lit les sous-titres.
Two teenagers visit a 1950s World's Fair exhibit on telecommunications.
Moving forward, I'm hoping to ensure all our stories are as accessible as we can make them. Gaming should be for everyone. Thanks for your time, and have a good one.
Hello, I'm Lucy Blundell, the indie developer behind Videoverse, which is a narrative adventure game.
Je suis en train de me dire, là, tu vois, il présente 4 jeux, mais c'est vraiment un quart de la conférence.
As a
Ah non.
disabled developer, I wanted to
Oh, il
include
en a
positive
présenté que 2.
disability representation in the story, but the game itself has many accessibility features that I'd like to share with you today. Videoverse can be controlled using mouse, keyboard, touchscreen, or controller. There are no button combos, no quick responses required, no strobe effects, and the game is generally low
Je
pressure.
te promets, ils traduisent en français, je suis sûr le jeu il doit être trop bien.
Large and clear,
Oh, ça,
with
ça
audio
fait vieux,
cues
ça.
upon selection.
Secours.
Videoverse is made in RenPy, the visual novel engine,
Ouais, la
which
musique,
already
il
includes
est
several
trop bien le
accessibility
jeu, il a l'air trop
features.
bien.
There's self-voicing and separate volume bars for sound, music, and voice. The default font can be switched for a clear, easy-to-read font, and all fonts are large and high contrast. If you miss a thought or conversation, you can check the log to see what you may have missed. And when it comes time to saving, you can manually save at any point or use the autosave feature. Though
Le jeu,
there are
il a
some
l'air trop
additional
bien.
features too. There is a typing noise during chat conversations, which can be turned off in the preferences menu. Closed captions are also available.
Wow!
Audio is not required to play Videoverse. And since Videoverse covers heavy topics, such as depression, abuse, and neglect, there is
Wow,
also
tous les
a content
trucs.
warning list that can be accessed. The default Videoverse theme is
Ça,
black
c'était
and
tous les mots
white,
pour bien décrire
clear
ma chaîne.
and high contrast. But there are many different color themes, some of which are colorblind friendly,
Oh.
and these can be changed at any time. And
Attends,
on
j'ai
the
pas compris
pause
son
menu,
histoire de
there is a
liste.
tick button in the top left corner. Use this to get a hint if you ever feel stuck.
La liste des sujets
If there's a feature missing that you'd like to see, please send me an email at contact@gamesbykimoku.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you
Je
enjoyed
suis
the
absorbé par le
all-school
jeu.
experience of Videoverse.
disponible maintenant.
Hello everyone, I am Sightless Combat. First off, thank you so much to the organisers for inviting me back here. It's amazing to be a part of this event once
J'adore
again.
son...
Ce n'était pas une blague.
J'adore son Lensor en or sur la porte là.
Wow.
Oh mon dieu, ça tease Gears of War 6 pour après-demain. D'ailleurs, moi je vais devoir préparer mon bingo moi, pour la
En effet.
including what has lovingly been termed as a pop waffle, a display holding
Moi je ferai mon petit bingo, mais pour Nintendo.
Ah, il y a une épée. Ah, j'avais pas vu là, les figurines de Halo.
Vous ne voyez plus rien. Ça arrive, les gens. Voilà, vous voyez. Et si je refais ça.
accessibility consultant and content creator from the UK, as well as being the accessible gaming officer for RNIB, that is Royal National.
Il a failli y avoir un débordement de ma part. Hein. J'étais en train, je regardais un autre truc sur mon autre écran. J'ai tourné la tête et je me suis dit mais.
Ouais, non, mais c'est pas le bon écran.
Ah non, 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 mais je.
Now, I'm here to talk about once again a genre that some
Alors, je
might
comprenais pas
question
trop pourquoi il faisait
how
comme
you
carte dans
would even
Pokémon,
make
quoi. Mais
accessible
sans
for
aller trop,
anyone with no vision to work with.
trop
And
dans le
one that,
détail.
from what I've heard, a fair number of people are interested in.
Donc une réaction, c'est bon.
Enter Cellular City, a puzzle game about building, well,
J'étais en train de regarder par rapport au jeu qu'on a vu juste avant. Il y a une démo gratuite. Et le jeu il coûte 12 €. Encore.
And
Il y
the
a que de
developer
l'anglais.
is keen to make this as accessible as possible. So I would highly recommend giving this a look if you're even remotely interested in something new and, in my case, relatively unfamiliar. But I'm not going to try and spoil any of this because here is a little trailer to show you just what this game is all about, as well as, of course, its accessibility features. Here is Cellular City from developer Callum Deary.
This is Cellular City, a puzzle game about building tiny cities.
Ça a changé City Skyline.
Cellular City's primary mechanic is rules around neighbouring buildings. For example, you can't have a steel foundry next to a block of flats.
A 3 is a flats. B3 is empty. B2
Ah oui,
is
en
empty.
effet.
Foundry placed in B2.
On the other hand, some buildings like each other, like stations and flats.
C2 is a station. B2 is empty. Flats placed in B2.
It has text-to-speech and audio description of levels, with a focus on accessibility for blind and low vision players. This includes settings to modify text-to-speech volume, rate, and voice, alongside keyboard and controller support.
Start building.
Level audio description starts automatically on level load, but can be reprompted by the player at any time.
Describing city. A1 is empty, B1 is a rail, C1 is a rail, A2 is a hill, B2 is a mine, C2 is a station, A3 is empty, B3 is empty, C3 is a rail.
The player's movement around the level
j'ai
is a hill.
is also described, as are their actions on placing buildings.
A3 is empty. Flats placed in A3.
The player can also prompt inspections of buildings to find out more about them.
A flat's brutalist streets in the sky. Always controversial with neighbors near and far.
So if you're interested in a puzzle game about the tensions in a modern city, check out Cellular City's demo on itch.io.
Hi, I'm the developer of Upheaval, a text-based open-world roguelike adventure where you can explore the wilderness, search for magic treasures, and shift the balance of power for 30 in-game days before a powerful magician brings big changes to the world around you. Upheaval is turn-based, with no timed actions and no complex controls. All text is big, easy to read, and high contrast. The background can be disabled, turned to dark mode, or both. Upheaval is completely blind playable without sighted assistance. You can use your favorite screen reader in the command line version.
Abandoned tower, armory, 26 days left, early night, 5/6. The muffled sound of a nightbird can be heard outside. 1. Go up the stairs, no time. 2. Go down the stairs, no time. 3. Open the chest, no time. 4. Search this area, 1 time, random, time searched, 0. 5. Make camp, 2 time.
Or the customizable text-to-speech in the graphical version.
You're in, abandoned tower, top floor. You're on the top floor of the tower. Stairs lead down to the floor below. Stone windows look out in all directions over the prairies. It's cold up here. The stone walls are sturdy around you. Press tab to highlight an option. Go down the stairs, no time. Look out over the prairies, 1 time. Search this area, 1 time. Success is random. Make camp, 2 time. This is the last option.
La voix devrait être encore plus rapide.
Separately for music, sound effects, ambient sound, and text-to-speech. Keyboard and controller inputs are both supported, and control remapping will be added before release. Difficulty levels can be adjusted either before or during each game. You can grant more in-game time, conjure items, teleport, use the rewind button planned before release, or any combination of these. You can try the free demo of Upheaval on Steam today. Wishlist Upheaval on Steam to support this project. If you have any questions about accessibility, please reach out using my contact info at upheavalgame.com.
Hi everyone, it's your host Laura here again. I want to take some time today to talk about a game that we wanted to include in this year's Accessibility Summer Showcase, and timings just did not work out for putting together a formal trailer to showcase this game, but I still really think that this game is doing some interesting stuff and I think it is worth talking about, so I'm going to put together a little tease just to try and tell you a little bit about a game that I wish we could have included more formally here today. Periphery Synthetic is a chill, relaxed, non-violent Metroidvania.
Menu de PS3 le jeu.
First person and is particularly notable for being designed to be able to be played without any visual input, to be able to be played purely with audio cues. You play as someone who has been tasked with surveying a planetary system in an upgradable exosuit, and are able to explore by following all sorts of musical audio cues that are built into the soundscape of the game to collect materials that will allow you to craft and upgrade your movement abilities.
J'ai cru que son chat avait planté puisqu'on voyait le curseur.
Exploration of a planet.
On peut avoir, j'étais assis.
It is a really unique game, trying some very interesting stuff in terms of how it presents its exploration cues. There is a demo available to play on itch.io if you search for Periphery Synthetic EP. The full game will be coming to Steam in summer of 2024. You can find a link to it on the Steam sale page this year that we have for all of the games included in the Accessibility Summer Showcase.
J'adore
I
le
know
décor.
that the developer of this game was real frustrated to not be able to have a trailer ready in time for our submission deadline, and I really wanted to still be able to include them, so I've put this together, and hopefully this gives you a sense of this really interesting game that I think is worth checking out.
Trash Goblin is a wholesome and cozy shopkeeping game where you uncover and clean trinkets other people have thrown away, then upcycle them to sell to an endless parade of colourful and quirky customers. You can then spend your savings to upgrade your shop, buy new and better tools to unlock more activities, and even expand your business to exciting new districts across town.
Le prochain Dark Scrolls.
Trash Goblin has always been intentionally designed to be enjoyed by as many people as possible. There are no fail states or time pressures, no skill gates to content, and no fast action. It's played in first person with a limited set of views, and no need to rush anywhere. This gentle pace is at the core of what it means to be a true goblin. We're doing everything we can to help players of all kinds enjoy the tactile, scrunchy, and satisfying mechanics we've built. That effort starts with us listening to our community. You asked us to add an option to allow players to sponge trinkets clean without holding a button down, so we did. And you asked for optional auto-chisel features for the chipping gameplay, so we implemented them. Thanks so much to our community for helping us make the game more accessible for everyone. Though a range of ongoing work we've undertaken to ensure you're able to enjoy Trash Goblin to the fullest. The mouse is used for every interaction, with optional keyboard shortcuts for navigation, and we're implementing controller support too. Tutorials use button glyphs for clarity. And the game's default font uses a clean and readable sans serif typeface with user-defined sizing. During conversations, the player can skip the text's appearance, and a button press confirms they've read everything. And there are a selection of audio and volume settings to take advantage of, plus text speed settings and more. But of course we want to do even more, so please consider wishlisting the game on Steam, and play the demo there now. Then come and talk to us in our Discord, and suggest even more improvements we can make. Trash Goblin. What kind of goblin do you want to be?
Merci Google.
Hi everyone, my name is Revia and I'm a disabled and chronically ill content creator from Norway and also a co-host of the podcast Control Alt Access together with Laura. I'm a white woman in my 30s with dark red hair, wearing a yellow flowy shirt sitting in my game room. Last year, Whitethorn Games brought us Botany Manor, a game where you play as Arabella, retired botanist living in the 19th century England. In this game, you
Après
work
analyse du
towards
décor,
finishing
parce
a
que
botanical
évidemment on
research
écoute trop ce
book.
qu'elle
But
dit, nous
Laura,
avons
exploring
un Todd,
fascinating ponds, looking for mysterious clues
Pourquoi il y a
and
une
solving
perruque?
petit raton
secrets.
laveur.
And not
Ouais,
only is
t'inquiète,
this
c'est dans
game
la
a
tête.
wonderful little
Petit
adventure,
raton
it's
laveur pas
also
très connu, juste derrière
accessible
Todd,
for
bon,
me.
on va pas en
From the
parler.
focus on cognitive accessibility through
Un
good
peu
information
bizarre,
and
Pikachu.
options, a
Très
well-made
très grosse
system, and
banane.
a bunch of
Une
ways
banane.
to reduce motion sickness, all the way to more motor accessibility with toggle to run and zoom. This game feels like
Un
it was
petit
made
drapeau
for me.
multicolore.
So this is why
Bonjour,
I'm
je
so
suis la
happy
banane.
to see that Whitethorn Games are back this year, and I can't
Oh, la
wait
banane
to
elle
see
parle,
what
c'est
I
fou.
have to show.
Bonjour, Bonjour, je suis la banane.
Are you ready to
Attendez, j'ai perdu ma voix.
cute slime?
Voilà.
Slime Heroes has you covered. In this adorable Souls-like
Ah oui, pardon, elle parlait d'un jeu. Cette année,
Diablo,
trop
mais
bien.
si on est un slime.
available to make the experience more accessible. Enemies and bosses have different damage scales, allowing you
Slam
to
run sur
up
3.
damage or cushion the blows.
Mais très bizarre
You
quand
can
même.
also slow the enemy's attack speed,
Slam run
or
sur 3.
increase your own stamina recharge. You can
Ouais, bon,
extensively change your
il a
character
changé
for
Slam
better
Rancher.
contrast and visibility based on
On va
your
avoir des skins.
preferences. There is also the ability to toggle on double jump for more control and distance in platforming sections. Timed puzzles can also be made longer so that you can have more time than you normally would to complete sections. You can outline your slime with either black or white to contrast the many colorful environments of the game for improved visibility. Enable visible hitboxes to allow you to see the exact movement of an attack or enemy, enabling you to be sure all of your attacks land as you eliminate even the most challenging corrupted enemies. This is just a sample of the things to come from Slime Heroes. In Magical Delicacy, you play as Flora, a young witch who's just moved to the harbor town of Grot to grow her magical abilities. In the game, you make new friends, discover new places, find the secrets, cook all sorts of delightful foods, and get entangled in an enchanting story. To help Flora traverse the city, there's an easy platforming option that disables disappearing platforms that would otherwise require precise timing or quick movements during puzzle or platforming areas. To improve visibility, there are also several high contrast options. You can highlight Flora's outline so she'll always stand out against her background. Additionally, you can darken the background so that the contrast can be even more visible. Beyond that, when having conversations with the mini characters of Magical Delicacy, there are even more accessibility options. You can disable any moving dialogue effects, autoplay dialogue, and you can change the game's text to a more legible font. Finally, we've worked to make the control scheme more accessible, allowing you to rebind controls on the keyboard, mouse, or gamepad, and you can play the game without any button holds. We hope you take the time to come and visit the beautiful city of Grot.
Ce sera dans le Game Pass.
Magical Delicacy later this year.
Wait, take one. Xbox Game Pass.
Hi, I'm Zoe Reyes, the usability and accessibility specialist.
En effet. Ah oui, en effet.
I'm a woman with blue hair just past shoulder length, in a light pink t-shirt, and wearing glasses. Making your games more accessible is a great goal to have, but sometimes it can feel daunting as an indie dev. To help you get started, I've got a starter kit of some features you can include.
À part du Overwatch et un petit bonhomme dont je connais pas le nom, je ne sais que dire sur le décor.
A lot of times they can be great accessibility options. Commands that reset the player or give the player increased health or stamina, or more time to defeat a puzzle are all great ways to accommodate players who have reduced reaction time. By looking at the way you use your tools to test the game yourself, you can come up with surprising ways to help your players. Keep contrast in mind. This may sound rather simple, but checking how contrastive the player's view is may make the difference in making the game playable for someone with low vision or colorblindness. Double check your inputs. Things like repetitive inputs and button holds can be limiting for the player. Offering alternatives such as eliminating the need for quick button presses or the ability to toggle a sustained button press is always a great idea, and if you can, try including input remapping. Including subtitles is another great way to make your game more inclusive, especially if your game has a lot of spoken dialogue. A lot of times, you already have a script ready to go, too. You can even go a step further and add subtitles for non-dialogue sounds in your game, such as environmental sounds or sounds that guide hearing players to act. Sometimes game objectives can be unclear. Instances where things are conveyed by color only or sound alone are often very inaccessible. Try conveying information in multiple ways if you can. I hope those tips help you get started. Keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list, but the good news is that there are loads of resources online from this amazing community. I recommend checking out the Games Accessibility Guidelines website, the Xbox Accessibility Guidelines, and the IGDA Games Accessibility SIG YouTube. Talking with other developers who are working on features to make their games more accessible is also one of the greatest resources we have. Our greatest strength is sharing the knowledge we gain with each other, because together we can make video games an even more inclusive space for everyone. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Milan Patel, also known as Patelaswar. I am an accessibility consultant and content creator, and I live with a disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I have been gaming pretty much my whole life, and that started getting difficult about 10 years ago. And this was at a time before accessibility was more widely implemented, so I kind of felt like I wasn't going to be able to game again anymore, or any longer in the future as well. But now, since accessibility is more widely implemented, and there are many more tools that you could use now,
J'ai d'autres remarques, mais je pense pas que ça passe.
So accessibility is something that's
Bon,
quite
mais vraiment,
important to
pour une
me,
fois,
and
c'est
it's really
vraiment
great
toi
to
qui
see
est...
it's being more widely implemented and more
Ah, je
people
vais
are
noter,
starting to
mais
learn about it.
permets-moi de faire une capture d'écran.
Hey everyone, I'm
Ah
Kevin
oui, ça
from
coupe.
Manavoid Entertainment, and today
Merci.
we're
Ah
going
non,
to talk about some of the accessibility features in Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan.
Voilà, bon,
Let's
de
jump right into it.
toute façon, vous saurez jamais ce que j'ai envoyé à Desclo actuellement, mais
Accessible for people with color blindness.
continuons.
Pourquoi t'as fait un photomontage avec ce
C'est une capture d'écran.
Oh, bâtard.
That's why you'll always see symbols associated with colors.
Ah non, non, quelque chose de très gentil. Oui, alors ce magnifique jeu.
Have all been given a symbol which is always present throughout the game. Items that you can interact with in the game are always
Des points de morale. Ah bah là, je viens d'en perdre beaucoup avec le screen. Ah bah.
Forced perspectives, which makes it easier to play with a joystick. The camera also rotates
ce genre de
automatically to help
dinguerie, on
with
peut
puzzles
tellement
and
pas dire ça.
There's a lot to explore in Rainbow Billy, and we didn't want anyone to feel lost. That's why, whenever you board Friendship, the camera will always point to your current objective seamlessly. You can also find your current objective on your compass and map that you can access at any time. There is no time limit or fail state in Rainbow Billy. This is a conscious decision to avoid the pressure of being put on the spot or failing tasks because you didn't react in time, so you can try again as many times as you want. It was important to us that the level of difficulty and confrontations wouldn't affect the experience, so we added a difficulty slider. Lowering the difficulty doesn't change your strategy, it just gives you more leeway for errors by reducing damage taken. There's also a few options to tweak how dialogue is displayed. We've made dialogue fun to read with a lot of
GTA
animations and
6.
effects. However, we know this can make the text harder to read for some people, so we've implemented the Open Dyslexic font, a dyslexia-friendly option to make it easier to read. You can also change the speed at which dialogue is displayed, and also change the character voices if you prefer more retro sounds, or none at all. Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan has so much more to offer. If you'd like to give it a try, head over to our Steam page and get ready to recolor the world. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.
Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan.
Hi everyone, quick update here from Laura. The folks behind Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan have actually given us some Steam codes for the game to give away during today's Accessibility Summer Showcase. If you would like to be entered into a random draw to win one of 5 copies of Rainbow Billy: The Curse of the Leviathan, you can head over to @WeAreManavoid on Twitter and find the competition tweet. 5 people will win Steam codes for the game by responding to the tweet up on Manavoid's Twitter. You can enter between now and Sunday, June 9th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you have about
Désolé,
2 days
dimanche
to
9
respond
juin
to
et dire
their
quelque
tweet
chose d'autre.
and put in for a random
Je
drawing to
regarderai.
maybe win a copy of Rainbow Billy:
Désolé
The
pour le
Curse of the
concours pour avoir le jeu
Leviathan.
gratuit.
Enjoy, fingers crossed that you win. Let's get back to more games.
Welcome to Spaceboat, a narrative adventure filled with colorful worlds and wacky characters. Play as Inspector Domino, an
Mario Kart.
space cat detective, and track down an intergalactic jewel thief.
En
Hi,
avant, c'est
my
trop
name is
chiant.
Luis Alonso, and I'm the game developer for Spaceboat. Since Spaceboat is a narrative adventure that is meant to be enjoyed by all, it was important to give it as many accessibility options as possible. What most people don't know is that I'm also a triple amputee, and one of the few disabled solo game devs that are out there.
T'as dit Mario
I
Kart?
take accessibility
Je sais pas,
seriously.
ça Mario Kart.
Last year, we mentioned the work that was done to have
couleurs,
high
tout ça.
contrast art direction for people with colorblindness, as well as having text for everything that was spoken or heard for people with hearing impairments.
On va avoir du
This year,
gameplay.
we added a number of additional features. Spaceboat now has an options menu
C'est un beau
accessible
bateau.
at all times from within seconds of starting the game. We recently added single stick controls to reduce the need for multiple inputs. Although other buttons might be needed, this makes the majority of the game playable with one hand. Similarly, we added an auto run feature, which reduces the number
Ah
of
ouais,
buttons that
le
need to be
gameplay.
pressed.
Waouh.
Additionally,
RTX,
we added input sensitivity controls so that all players can fine-tune the game to their liking. Although we mentioned that we put a lot of work into providing a high contrast art direction, we felt it was a good idea to include color-blind shader modes. We know it's not a well-loved feature, but if it helps someone in the slightest, it's there. On Steam, we also added the ability to switch controls on demand. This means that if you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, you can switch to an Xbox controller at any time. As a person with a physical disability, I know it's handy to have as many inputs available.
Je joue avec une manette de PS3.
Please note that these features are currently available in our demo, which can be found on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. If you think that Spaceboat could benefit from further improvement, please contact us at contact@recombobulator.ca. Thank you from everyone at Recombobulator Games.
We at Paint Bucket Games believe that everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy the games we create, regardless of ability. We are currently developing The Darkest Files, a historical investigation and courtroom game based on true crimes. We want our games to be inclusive and welcoming to all players, which is why we've implemented several accessibility features. For one, players can choose their own difficulty and even customize it further to match their needs. The Darkest Files also features mouse-only gameplay. This allows players to play the game just by clicking with one hand, making it accessible to those who use adaptive controllers as well. In addition to mouse-only gameplay, we've also made it easy for players to switch seamlessly between input devices, such as keyboard, mouse, or controller. Of course, their sensitivity can be adjusted as well. Since players work with documents while investigating, we are also very mindful of the readability of our fonts and texts and always offer a transcription. For dialogues, there are real-time subtitles available. While developing, we are in contact with testers with impairments and want to continue to learn about accessibility.
Hi everyone, Laura here again.
Bon, ça manque un
Thank you
peu de
so much
musique,
for
mais ça a
tuning
l'air
into this
intéressant.
year's
Oh oui.
Accessibility Summer Showcase.
Et
As
c'est
a
vite.
reminder, we have a Steam sale page for this year's Summer Showcase, so you can find most of this year's games all in one place on Steam if any of them caught your interest. We've got one final trailer for you before we wrap up.
One more thing.
But before that, I want to make a quick announcement. The Accessibility Summer Showcase is a bit of a passion project for me, and it's something that I find a lot of joy in producing. As such, I'd like to try expanding it just a little. In December of 2024, I'm going to attempt to publish the Accessibility Winter Showcase.
Le Summer
Showcase
le Winterfest Show.
at the other end of the year. The hope is that we can provide a spotlight for accessible video games.
Ils vont faire la même chose, mais cet hiver.
With our usual summer event. If you're
Mais c'est littéralement ça.
a developer who would be interested in
J'avais mis en
featuring
pause.
in the Accessibility Winter Showcase,
Okay.
email laurakbuzzofficial@gmail.com and we can discuss specifics. More official information will be made available in the coming weeks. There's no guarantee that the Accessibility Winter Showcase will return in future years, but I'd like to give it a go and see if it's something that I can publish sustainably. Thank you all again for watching. Please enjoy our last trailer, and I hope you have an accessible day.
Hey everyone, I'm Darren, the developer of Downfolk, a miniature survival city builder.
A miniature?
Back to the world.
Ah, this is the French
Downfolk
Ubisoft.
is a perfect entryway into the city builder strategy game genre. It's a
En effet,
simple
miniature.
game without complex menus to navigate or endless
Comment tu fais pour avoir autant de...
tutorials. A unique element of Dawnfolk is that you can collect resources by playing small, exciting minigames. But one day, a player contacted me
amazing,
and
you
told me he
know.
could not enjoy the game because those minigames required too much button mashing and dexterity. That made me so sad that I quickly updated the demo within the hour with a button to disable the minigames. He was very grateful, and watching him play afterwards really motivated me to add more accessibility features. Unlike most strategy games, Dawnfog is completely playable with any controller you like. You can also activate haptic feedback to better understand what's happening in the game. Dawnfog is also a narrative game, where you can reshape the story. The text is big, but you can change that 8-bit pixel font to a more readable one. You can also open the journal to read previous dialogue entries in case you need a little reminder. There are only a few key information on the screen at any time, and everything is big enough to make sure you can easily read it. The game uses signs, shapes, and high contrast colors, so you can play it whatever type of color blindness you might have. You can also activate a narrator that's gonna read everything for you.
Meadow, forest, plain, tents, wheat field. Awesome, the wheat field produces food every day.
There are tons of audio cues, but you can also perfectly play the game without any sound. Dawnfog plays in real time, however no worries, you can pause time whenever you want. The game can be played with different levels of difficulty, and you can save anytime, so don't worry about making a mistake. If you're stuck, Lueur will always come back to you with some advice. There's no jump scares in the game, but you do have a few screen shakes and flashes that you can disable. The game is still in development, and I'll be sure to add more accessibility features in the future. Play the demo on Steam, and let me know what you think. Have fun!
If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned for a live stream showcasing demos for Fishbowl, Dawnfog.
Ça ira, merci. Sur ce, eh ben... c'était sympa. Bah voilà.
Et bah voilà, j'attends juste que la dame... Voilà, elle est finie. Même pas de petit écran mode logo pendant un petit moment. D'accord, on va se remettre au début quasiment.
C'est ce que j'ai fait moi
Et
aussi.
ben...
Bah, c'était sympa en vrai.
Ouais, 45 minutes de conférence, c'était...
Très sympa.
Proposant, c'était chill.
Ouais, c'était chill. Franchement, ouais, c'était cool. Puis ça nous permet de nous économiser pour la grosse conférence de ce soir.
Tout à fait, c'est vrai que c'est ce soir, j'y crois toujours pas.
Summer Game
Ah
Fest.
là là, bon. Et ben... Bon, que dire? C'était sympa,
Oui, y a pas...
accessibilité de ci, de ça, hein. Même si bon, même si c'est un peu le contexte, enfin le concept de la conf, bon, c'est peut-être trop, tu sais, c'est peut-être trop axé sur la présentation
De...
des accessibilités ajoutées en question. Genre,
Ouais.
on voit quasiment peu, bon, selon les jeux, on voit pas beaucoup de jeux, quoi, selon les
Bah, en fait,
trailers, on va dire.
le truc, c'est que ça présente les accessibilités, c'est ça, mais en fait, ça commence à être redondant parce que c'est quasiment les mêmes choses qu'ils ont ajoutées. Donc, au lieu de faire une présentation de chaque jeu, etc., plutôt genre dire voici les jeux dont vous pouvez bénéficier en termes d'accessibilité avec ces accessibilités-là, genre tac tac tac, genre les sous-titres se lisent automatiquement avec une voix de synthèse, genre, et là ça met les jeux, etc. Un petit clip avec les jeux. Mais ouais, je comprends. Je comprends pourquoi ils ont voulu faire ça, pour laisser un petit peu la
Oui,
parole aux
bien sûr.
développeurs pour parler de leur jeu et tout aussi. Et ouais, je suis d'accord.
OK, pour ma part, j'ai une note, pour la conférence, je ne sais pas toi?
Je sais pas encore, peut-être que je vais prendre celle de, je pense que je vais prendre la tienne en vrai.
De notes?
Ouais.
Et ben, sache que j'allais mettre 6.
6?
Voilà. Ouais,
Ouais,
parce que,
ouais.
en fait, c'est en comparatif, c'est que,
C'est ça.
si la GFRENCH c'est 7, je peux pas mettre,
On peut pas
7
mettre
ce qu'on vient de voir.
oui, oui, je suis d'accord, je suis d'accord.
Donc on
Là,
est
j'ai
parti
French
sur,
Flip,
une
ouais, non.
tendance, assez basse pour, la période, mais bon, non, 6 c'est bien. Bah, le State of Play, j'avais mis 6,5, tu vois? Donc,
Ah oui. Bon, ça va.
non, 6 c'est bien. C'est 12 sur 20, quoi. C'est pas mauvais, c'est sympa, c'est un bon petit moment,
Je suis d'accord, je suis d'accord.
Voilà, voilà. Bon,
D'accord.
pour ma part, je ne sais pas quand va sortir cette, vidéo, mais ça m'étonnerait qu'elle sorte avant ce soir. Donc on se retrouve,
Bah.
d'ici la prochaine conférence. Je ne sais pas quand, dans tous les cas, il y en aura pas mal. Il y a vendredi soir, samedi soir, dimanche soir, hein. Il y a aussi lundi soir, Ubisoft
Oui,
Forward,
c'est
20
vrai.
heures. Ah
20h.
là là. Ouais, c'est ce que j'avais noté, 20h.
C'est pas 21h?
Je te l'avais en je sais plus ce que 21h, autant pour moi.
Ouais.
Et Nintendo, j'imagine, ça tombera peut-être la semaine, d'après. Enfin la semaine
J'espère
d'après,
bien.
quelques jours après l'Ubisoft Forward.
Je pense aussi.
Bon voilà.
Heu
C'était tout pour moi.
Bah, je n'ai rien d'autre à rajouter pour ma part.
Très bien, très bien. Et ben, merci d'avoir regardé. On se retrouve ce soir si la vidéo sort à temps sur les 2 chaînes. Et moi je dis merci d'avoir regardé et vive,
Et
et
vive
vive
le jeu vidéo!
l'accessibilité
Et vive
dans les jeux
l'accessibilité!
vidéo.
Voilà. Des bisous à toutes, des bisous à tous
Au
et à la
revoir.
prochaine. Des bisous YouTube.